The UK government has declared a climate and environment emergency. See this big green alarm here. The motion was tabled by the Labour Party and went through yesterday. Jeremy Corbyn was addressing some of these protesters and said they've forced the UK to declare this climate emergency. Real politics comes from the ground up, and that's what today has shown. Now, we'll give you a little bit of an insight into what that emergency might actually mean, but it's all come from a loud voice of lots of protesters. First and foremost, Extinction Rebellion. These are the people who've been gluing themselves to monuments, been refusing to move. They locked down the centre of London, Oxford Circus. They've staged die-ins at museums, stand-ins on bridges, and they've celebrated this, they've passed this emergency. This has got to be the start. We've got to tell the truth about the climate crisis. This is one of their three key demands. They're not the only people who've really upped the ante in the climate change conversation over the last few months. Greta Thunberg is the Swedish activist who stopped going to school on Fridays to strike for climate change. Her voice is now a worldwide one as students join in protesting with her. She said this is a historic and hopeful piece of news. Now, other nations must follow and words must turn into immediate action. But what might that action actually be? We spoke to a spokesperson from Extinction Rebellion. My colleague Shauna was speaking to him, and he said, this is Dr. Bing Jones, that actually it hasn't gone far enough.
They have not actually put aside any real money. We need to have radically changed policy if we are to avoid catastrophic global warming, and we have to start soon. So we will continue, almost certainly, until our third demand is met, particularly the institution of a citizens' assembly.
And the reality is, it's just a symbolic change. Declaring a climate emergency by the UK Parliament doesn't actually have any implementation on policy. So what will happen next? Well, Caroline Lucas on this point, she's the former leader of the Green Party in the UK, says you can't declare a climate emergency and then continue business as usual. Fracking, building new runways, that third runway that's in long discussion, industrialised farming, etc., etc. So what will happen next? Well, today, the Committee on Climate Change issued their report. They've made it very clear. They advise the UK should set a net zero emissions target, that's greenhouse gases, for 2050. That's something that Extinction Rebellion would still say doesn't go far enough.